Time now for the 11warriors.com web report. It's sunk in for me over the weekend that Urban Meyer is about to not be the head coach at Ohio State. It was a little sobering. I won't pretend that it wasn't a little bit of a downer. But the thing that I started to think about, Josh, and I'll start with you on this. When Urban Meyer was hired as the head coach of Ohio State, he was the first person hired here that I would argue his cue or his brand in the United States in college football was bigger than Ohio State's at the time. And then he brought the program to that level. What is Ryan Day's Ohio State? What is he selling?
It's interesting. I think you just got to sell the school. You know, it's Ryan Day's a different cat than Urban Meyer. He doesn't have that pedigree. So you got to sell the school. You got to sell the program, which is time tested to be a very successful program. And then you're looking at the other things too. Columbus is a hell of a city. You can sell Columbus to a guy. You know, one of the things, and it's hard when the guy is 17 or 18, but I am so glad that I went to school in Columbus, especially since I grew up here. But the industry is great. It's booming right now. It's growing, and there's no barrier around Columbus. It'll grow until it's done growing. And so I think you can sell all of those things. I think you can sell some of the wins that they've had in the past, even dating back to the Tressel days, Coach Meyer. But you got to get away. He can't just walk in and be like Urban. You've got to build that picket fence around Ohio. So you're going to recruit those guys and then maybe go on national scope after that. But he's got to find a way to make sure that the brand is what he's recognizing and not himself or his staff.
Yeah, Dan, the thing that's really interesting is the infrastructure remains the same, and those people are Urban's people, obviously. We talk about Pantoni and Voltolini and Stamper and Mickey and those guys. Those are very, very specifically Urban's guys, and they're all absurdly qualified and good at their jobs. But the staff, his actual staff, in which we don't know what the finality of that staff is going to look like by the time it's all said and done, other than Larry Johnson. I mean, you're talking about this staff in terms of guys that you think will be there next year. No national championship. They're not part of this urban tree. This is a really new staff that Ryan Day is going to have as well. They're going to be selling something very, very different. And I think it's really critical for Ryan Day to not try to run the Urban Meyer program. I don't think he can do that.
I agree. I think you've got to be your own man to run a successful program. And we've seen guys do this before. I mean, we've seen Lincoln Riley has started to do that at Oklahoma, where he has already started to build his brand. 2 Heisman Trophy winners back-to-back kind of helps you do that. I mean, I think of Clemson, where I used to cover, where Dabo Swinney, when he was hired, was a wide receivers coach that nobody knew about, and people were questioning that hire. And look at what he's built. He's built that program to something that it's never been before. So to expect him to come in and be Urban Meyer, you can't expect that. It's also probably naive to expect if there's not going to be at least some level of drop-off initially when you lose a coach like Urban Meyer. But I think there's a lot of belief in Ryan Day. I think he's a very talented young coach. I think he's shown what he can do from an offensive standpoint, and I think that's one of your selling points here is in terms of a quarterback. Like, let's say you're trying to get some top quarterback to come to Ohio State. You can now sell Dwayne Haskins. You can now sell, I've built Dwayne Haskins. Urban Meyer could sell a lot of quarterbacks who are successful in college, but not necessarily in the NFL. I think Ryan Day's got that right there on his plate. And now I think you've got to go and you've got to build a new staff around you, bring in some new guys who can also bring their selling points and help him build a staff that will make players at all positions want to continue to come play for Ohio State.
Yeah, and you don't know what that identity is even going to look like. I think you bring up a great point with Dwayne. I mean, that's what you sell. You sell, this is what we did with this kid. Come here and we're going to get you ready for the NFL. And that's at quarterback. That's very different. But he's also got to sell linebackers. He's got to sell somebody else too. And then they're going to have to decide, are we going to go toe-to-toe? Are we going to go toe-to-toe in places that are not traditional Ohio State strongholds? Austin, Texas, South Florida. Are we going to go in those places and go toe-to-toe with Jimbo and with Herman and with Saban? Are we going to be able to do that still without Urban? And if we do that, are we going to risk losing somebody in our own backyard? So these are the conversations. Not this year. This is a race to signing day.
Right.
But in the coming years, what is the identity of the program? It's one that I can't wait to watch as this picture gets painted by Ryan Day. Good stuff, gentlemen. We'll see you next week.